Hey everyone, welcome back here to my home studio. You can see today I'm sitting next to my kiln. That's because today's video involves replacing the old electronic controller on my Skutt Kiln with the brand new, the touch screen controller, which coordinates to the Kiln Link app, so I can actually monitor my kiln on my phone or on a computer, and I can keep logs of all that. I still manually write everything down. I like to have a manual kiln log where I make notes and everything, but it's going to be nice to have an electronic version of that as well. Now you can see that I started off by actually turning the power off to my kiln. In my case, I just unplugged it because my kiln is not direct wired. It's actually plugged into an outlet, so I did unplug it. It's a good idea to check your plugs every once in a while just to make sure that you don't have any fault with any arcing or anything, because anytime you have something like a plug, that's one more area for maintenance to check. You want to make sure that everything is in good operational order. So let's go ahead and get started. Skutt does recommend that you follow the directions and read them beforehand so you know what's happening. But in my case, I've already done step 1 where I've shut it off, and then step 2, it says to loosen the 4 corners of the control panel. So I'm going to take out those screws. Now, don't lose your screws because you're going to need them again. All right, so here's the guts of my control panel. The red wires on the original panel are labeled, as are the little contacts where I'm going to be putting the red wires. So I'm just going to take one red wire off at a time, and I'm going to put it on the corresponding contact on the new one. I'll put one. Now I've sped this part up, but you're going to gently wiggle those little wires side to side to remove them from the contacts and to add them to the new contacts. You don't want to wiggle them front to back. You don't want to bend those contacts. You have to go side to side so you don't damage anything. And then once you have them all on there, make sure that they're firmly seated and firmly in place. You want them to be in good contact. Okay, so I've now transferred the red wires from the original controller to the new, making sure that they are really placed down firmly on the contacts. Everything is nicely engaged there. I just had to follow directions and put them on the corresponding contact post. All right, so I transferred all the red wires to the new controller. The next thing it says to remove the sensor, the current sensor, with this skinny slotted screwdriver. I, however, did not get a slotted screwdriver that was skinny enough, so I'm going to run and go get the correct one because it will not fit into those screws. Okay, so that's the current sensor, and it kind of just set it aside for a little bit. All right, next step, after I've removed the current sensor, it says to remove the thermocouple wires. Now, I only have a single thermocouple on this kiln. I don't have zone control, so I'm going to remove the 2 thermocouple wires. And here I'm just putting the little screws that held the thermocouple wires back in place into that control panel. I don't want to lose any of that hardware, so if ever I want to use this panel again, I'll have all the hardware with it still. Okay, so everything is disconnected from my old board. I am going to mark thermocouple. So if I need this again someday, I'll be able to use this. And it came with okay, so I did mark where the thermocouples came out of on the original panel, and the new controller came with this anti-static bag in which I'm going to store the old control panel. That way, if I ever need it, I can always go back to it and use it. It's still good, it's still usable. Okay, so let's see what's next. And it says, the new thermocouple block is a little different. Wires are locked in with set screws, just like the current sensor. So the screws are a little bit different with this. I just slide these wires. I'm making sure that the red one goes where the red one belongs, and the yellow one goes where the yellow one belongs. Okay, so for the thermocouple wires, I am just twisting together the ends a little bit to make sure that they are not kind of sticking out. And it does have a slightly different connection. So it doesn't wrap around the screw post like the other one did. It slides in. I just have to make sure that I have it aligned with the correct one in the correct hole. So the red one is lined up in the right spot, and then the yellow one is lined up in the right spot. There we go. That's nice and snug. Nothing's going to fall out of there. So I don't know if you can see that, but it has a different connection. It's not the one where it's just wrapped around a screw. It's sandwiched in there. And because I have one thermocouple, it does go in the TC2, the thermocouple 2 spot, and it does say it right on the directions. Okay. All right, so now as I put this current sensor back in there, it's a little bit difficult to see, but on the back side, I can see where it says positive and negative, and then on the board here, I can see where it says positive and negative, so I want to make sure that I have those aligned properly, and then I'm going to screw that down. All right, so I have the current sensor attached now. Now, the only question that I have is when I get to step 8, when it describes a donut-shaped end of the current sensor. I don't have a donut-shaped end to my current sensor. So it's describing that it should have one phase wire passing through it for each powered section. Because I don't have a 3-phase, I only have a single phase, that might not be a question, an issue here. Okay, so just to let you know, the directions that I have might be a little bit older than what Skutt is now sending out, because I ended up by getting some directions here which were superfluous for what I'm doing, because they already have installed a couple of these things. Like, I was supposed to install a conversion board, it said, but then I was a little bit confused. I called Skutt. They have great customer service, and they said, oh yeah, we already installed those. We thought the directions changed. So maybe I just happened to get some old directions there. So it looks like I have everything all set to go. My current sensor is on, my thermocouple wires are in, and then the little red wires are all there. Now I'm ready to line this back up and get my screws back in. So getting those screws back in might be one of the trickiest things of it because you have to really hold it right in place. Maybe having a partner to help you might help a little bit, but just getting the screws started makes it easier to screw in the rest of them. And then once you do that, go ahead and plug it back in. Okay, I'm taking off the film. Okay, now that I have it installed, I'm going to check out the manual for the touchscreen operation. And after really looking at the new instruction booklet for this operating system, it's really cool, the different things that are similar. So it has a screen that prompts you with everything that you really need to know. And I'll do another view of this, but here I'm doing a program, and then I'm doing a ceramic program, and I'm just following the prompts and asking me the various things of what do I want to do, and I can't even read what it says there, unfortunately. But you're going to follow the prompts, whether you're doing a glass fire program, a ceramic program. You'll put in your cone, if you want it fast or slow, and there are many different options that are available. So this was my very first firing, but I wasn't realizing that the screen wasn't showing up very well. So I'll show you here in just a minute what this looks like. So here I've got a little bit better view. You can see it. The kiln is actually on right now. You can hear the relays clicking. So the little yellow button in the lower left, it says details. I'm going to press that, and it's just going to show me what is happening. I'm on the current segment, what my current temperature is. You can see that ultimately I'm doing a bisque fire to 1945, and this is a regular cone fire that I've done. I have not programmed any special fancy program. It has a graph of everything with the estimated time, and it will save all these logs, and it gives you a computer, like a number that you can put in on a website, so you can always view your logs and everything. So there I'm going, and I've got my fan on, and I'm doing my first test fire. I would do a follow-up to this to show you how you can recalculate if you have to do a little differential, like if your firing is just a little bit off, if it's firing too hot or too cold. I'll do that on another video, but I wanted to show you this and get this out there to you.